Hello and welcome to a series of mathematics GCSE, IGCSE and GCE O Level lessons. In this series, this is the first episode of this series, and in this series I will be covering all the chapters part of the GCSE, IGCSE or GCE O Level. All right, let's start. So today we are going to start up with the most basic unit, HCF and LCM. HCF, highest common factor, and LCM stands for lowest common multiple, right? So first of all, let me just explain you what is a factor and what are multiples, right? A factor means, we say factors are those numbers by multiplying which we arrive at another number. Now, let's say, for example, when you multiply 2 and 6, we arrive at 12. So 2 times 6 is 12, and we can say that 2 and 6 are multiples of, are the factors of 12. So that means 12 is made up of timing 2 and 6. So 2 and 6 are the factors of 12. Right, okay. So what are multiples? Right, now let's say, for example, 3, 6, 9, 12. Right, what can you understand from this? 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. So that means these are actually multiples of 3. So now I'm sure you understand what are multiples of 3. Multiples means when a number is multiplied, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, this is what we mean by multiples. So multiples of 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12. Multiples of 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. So multiples of 12 can be 12, 24, 36, and so on, 48. So what happens is, actually, these are what we mean by multiples. That is, when a number is multiplied by the other numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, right? So to carry on with our discussion, actually, I'm going to explain you, first of all, the most basic method to figure out the lowest common multiple. Now, we have learned what is a multiple is about. So what is lowest common multiple? Now, when you say multiple, yes, now, for example, multiples of 20 is going to be like 20, 40, 60, and so on. And so the common, what is common means? Common stands for common between different numbers. That means the common multiples of 20 and 24. And of that, we are going to figure out the lowest. So I'm pretty sure that this is easy for you to understand now. Right, let's see what are the multiples of 20 and multiples of 24. And then we will see what's the meaning of common, and then what's the meaning of the lowest common. Right, so first we will list down all the, because as I said, this is the most basic method that I'm going to discuss. So in the basic method, it's about listing down all the multiples, right? Okay, now 20, what are the multiples of 20? If we take 20 times 1 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40, 20 times 3 is 60, and so on. So 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, 240. So let's go on to, okay, I have arrived at like up to 10 multiples of 20. So let's talk about now the multiples of 24. In the same way, we can get up to maybe, like, let's say 10 or 12 multiples of 24. So the first few multiples of 24 times 1 is 24, times 2 is 48, 24 times 3 is 72, 24 times 4 is 96, times 5 is 120, times 6 is 144, 24 times 7 is 168, 168 and 192, 24 times 8, 24 times 9 is 216, and 24 times 10 is 240, 24 times 11 is 264, and 12 is 288. Okay, let's stop with that. Right, so now we have 20 times 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 12. So the first 12 multiples of 20 and the first 12 multiples of 24. Right, now when you look at this, you can see that, you know, some of the multiples of 20 and 24 are both the same. We see similar numbers. For example, 20 times 6 is 120 and 24 times 5 is 120. So here we have a multiple of 20 and 24 which is common, that is 120. And we have another which is 240. So as you write down like this continuously, the multiples of 20 and multiples of 24, you will find out many common multiples like this: 120, 240, and so on, 360. Right. But of that, the lowest common multiple, the most lowest is 120. 120 is the lowest common multiple of both 20 and 24. Right. So this is what we mean by lowest common multiple. That is a multiple of two numbers, which is the lowest common one, which is the lowest. Right. For the same question, question number 1, now I'm going to explain you another method called the prime factor method, because the reason is this: when we write the, list down the multiples of all the numbers, earlier you were given 20 and 24 here. So when you list down, we have to keep on multiplying, okay, 20 times 1, 20 times 2, 24 times 1, 2, and so on. So we have to list down everything. It might be a bit time consuming. So for that reason, what we can do is we can use a different method, right? First of all, we know factors means what? Factor means by multiplying these numbers is how we can make another number. And prime number means a number which can only be divided by the same number and 1. Now, let's say, for example, 1 doesn't stand as a prime number, though. So let's take an example of numbers starting from 2, for example. 2, what are the factors of 2? 2 times 1 or 1 times 2. That's it. There are no other factors of 2. So the factors of 2 are 2 and 1. So 2 can only be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. So 2 can only be divided by 1 and 2. So 2 is a prime factor, prime number. 3 can be, how do we get 3 is 3 times 1. That's all. We can't get 3 by, multiplying any other numbers. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 3 divided by 1 is 3. So 3 is a prime number as well. 4, let's say. 4 can be, there is a factor of 4, that is 1 times 4 or 4 times 1. And there's another factor also, 2 times 2. So this means 4 can be divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 can be divided by 1. That is 4 divided by 1 is 4. But 4 also can be divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So therefore, 4 isn't a prime factor because 4 can be divided by not just by 4 alone and 1, but also with other numbers, like for example 2. Okay, so that's what we mean by prime number, a number which can only be divided by the same number as well as 1. Now let's see how we can, figure out the the common factor, the lowest common multiple of both 20 and 24 by factorizing. Okay, let's do this. Okay, 20. We will take the factors of 20 and 24 first, right? So like I said, factors means those are numbers by multiplying which we arrive at this. Now, for example, 20, factors of 20 can be 5 times 4. Right. 5 is a prime number, so we cannot do anything with 5. But 4 is not a prime number, so 2 times 2 is 4. Now 2 is a prime number as well. So that means how can we arrive at 20 is 2 times 2, which is 4, 4 times 5, which is 20. So now we have the prime factors of 2, which is 2 times 5. Or it can also be written like this, 2 squared times 5. So these are the factors of 20. Factorizing method, I said. Okay, 24. There are plenty of different ways to arrive at 24. One can be 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. Right. So 3 is a prime factor, prime number. 8 isn't. So how do we arrive at 8 is 2 times 4. Again, 4 can be factorized saying 2 times 2. Right. Now we have arrived at all the prime numbers. As you can see, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. Right. So what are the factors of 24 is that 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Or we can write in a simpler form with indices, that is 2 to the power of 3, 2 times 2, which is 3, and times 3. Right. So now we have arrived at the prime factors. Of course, when I'm explaining you, it is taking a bit of time. But when you practice more sums, it's going to be really easy. You will be more faster. Because in math, we say practice. In English, we say practice makes perfect. And this practice make perfect, it actually really matters to, practical subjects like math. You need to practice a lot of sums, so that you can become perfect in math. Right. Okay. Let's go on with this now. Right. So now we have the factors of 20 and 24. The factors of 20 is 2 squared times 5, and 24 is 2 cubed times 3. Right. Now the next step is, now when you are finding out the lowest, keep in mind the lowest common multiple. When you want to find the lowest common multiple, what you should do is, now these are factors, 2, 3, all of these are factors. You must take the highest of these factors, right? So keep that in mind. When you want to find out the lowest common multiple, you need to take the highest of the factors. Now, if you take the highest of the factor, 2 is one of the factors of 20 and 24. But for 20, 2 is 2 times 2, 2 squared. And for 24, it is 2 times 2 times 2, 2 cubed. So the highest of the 2 is 2 cubed. Do you understand? 2 times 2 times 2 is the highest. The multiply, next is 3 is a factor of 24, but 3 is not a factor of 20. Right. But so anyway, that means for 24, 3 to the power of 1 or just 3. Here there is no 3. So the highest of the factor 3 is just 1 3. 3 to the power of 1 times, if you look at this, 5 is a factor of 20, but 5 is not a factor of 24. So that means here it is 5 to the power of 1. Here it is 5 to the power of 0. We need the highest. So highest is 5 to the power of 1. So there are no other factors. 2, 3, and 5 are the factors here. So 2 cubed, 2 to the power of 3 means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So 8 times 3 is 24 times 5 is 120. If you recall, earlier the listing method we did, there also we arrived at the LCM or the lowest common multiple of 20 and 24 was 120. So at the exams, most of the time in the exams, it's better to use this method rather than listing down and multiplying one by one, right? So you need to practice. All right, so let's move on to another question and see whether you understand, right? Right, before we go further on and practice more questions on LCM, let's discuss HCF also so that we can, practice the questions with both the numbers. Okay, lowest common multiple is what we discussed. Now let's see highest common factor, right? Factor, you already know what is a factor is now. Factors are, the numbers by multiplying which we make another number. So for example, factors of 54 can be those numbers by multiplying which we arrive at 54. And factors of 90 are also the same. Now, once again, first I'll explain you one of the most basic methods, right? That is listing down all the factors, right? Okay. So for example, 54, how can we arrive at 54? One way is 1 times 54. So 1 and 54 are factors of 54. Another is 2 times 26. Right. So actually need to say times. We will, because you know what it means. Okay, 2 times 27 is, that way also we can come up to 54. So 1, 54, 2, 27. Right. So what are the other factors of 54? Even 3 is a factor of 54. All right. 3 times, so 3 times 18 is 54. So 3 and 18 are also factors of 54. 4 isn't a factor of 54. Even 5 is not. But 6 is a factor of 54. That is 6 times 9 is also 54. Now we have all the factors. 7, 8 are not the factors of 54. So the factors of 54 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18, 27, and 54. Right. Now let's see the factors of 90 and list down all the factors of 90 to find the highest common. So as you know for sure, 1 is a factor of 90. 1 times 90 is 90. So that is a factor. Then 2 is a factor of 90 as well. 2 times 45 is 90. 3 is a factor of 90 as well. 3 times 30 is 90. 4 isn't a factor, but 5 is a factor. As you know, 5 times right, so 5 times 18 is 90. Because right. And what about 6? Is 6 is a factor of 90? Yes. 6 times 15 is also 90. Next is 7? No. Is 8? Also no. But 9 is a factor of 90. That is 9 times 10. So 10 is also a factor of 90. So now we have all the factors of 90. That is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 15, 18, 30, 45, and 90. Right. Now the factors of 54 are listed and factors of 90 are also listed here. Now let's see the highest common factor means what. Now if you see 1 is a common factor for 54 and 90. 2 is a common factor. 3 is a common factor. 5 is not, but 6 is a common factor. There's no 7. There's no 8 here, but 9 is also a common factor. And 10 is not, it's just here, it's not there. And then you can see 18 is a common factor. That's all we have common factors. And out of the common factors, if you see, 18 is the highest common factor between number 54 and 90. So for both 54 and 90, the highest common factor we have is 18. So where we say 18 is the HCF of 54 and 90. Right. So once again, this is the long method or listing down method, because at the exam, unless you list down all the factors, sometimes, if you miss 1 or 2, you might end up in a wrong answer. So we can also do, for this, we can use again the prime factor method. Okay. So what is prime factor methods? The prime factor method is finding the prime factors of these two numbers. Okay, 54 and 90. What are the prime factors of both 54 and 90? Right, so 54, we know two of the factors of 54 is that 2 times 27. You can take any of the factors that you remember. That's not a problem. But ultimately, you will arrive at the same prime factors, whichever the way. Now, for example, even if you did 6 times 9, you're going to end up in that way also finally. Right. So 27 is not a prime number because 27 is actually 9 times 3. So 3 times 9 is 27, and 9 also we now factorize to be 3 times 3. So now we have arrived at all the prime numbers. So 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 is how we will arrive at 54. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 3 is 18, and 18 times 3 is 54. Right, so the factors of 54 can be written in the index form like this, 2 times 3 to the power of 3. Right. Now 90. So there are plenty of different factors of 90. One is we can say, okay, 3 times 30 is 90. So 30, also we can arrive at 3 times 10. And 10 is 2 times 5. So now we have the prime factors. So which are 2, 3, 3, and 5. So 2 times 3 squared times 5. 2 times 3 squared is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 times 5 is also 90. Okay, so now we have the prime factors of both the numbers. Now, the next thing that you need to keep in mind is, now when you are to find the highest common factor, I told you earlier the lowest. When you are to find the lowest, we take the highest of the factors. But when you are to find the highest common factor, then you need to take the lowest of these factors, right? So what are the lowest of 2? Here you find 2, here also you find 2. So both are 2 to the power of 1. So lowest of 2 is just 2 times, what's the lowest of 3? Here 3 cubed, here 3 squared. So 3 squared is the lowest one. And 5, the 5, here 5 to the power of 1, here 5 to the power of 0. So lowest of the 5 is 5 to the power of 0. 5 to the power of 0 means just 1. So we can simply ignore that. So now here we have what? 2 times 3 squared. That means 9. 2 times 9 is 18. So 18 is the highest common factor. If you recall again the basic method that we just practiced, there also we ended up that 54 and 90, these two numbers, highest common factor being 18. Okay, so I hope you understand this now. Okay, all right, let's carry on with practicing more questions. Right now, let's find out the lowest common multiple of 54 and 90. Since I have already explained you LCM, I'm pretty sure you understand, you know how to find that. Okay, all right, so 54 and 90. Let's do the same method, the method of prime factors. So 54, it is 2 times 27. So 27 is 3 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. So we have the factors here, 2 and 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3. And 90 here. 3 times 30. 3 times 10. And 2 times 5. So here we have 2, 3 squared, and 5. So we know for lowest common multiple, we need to take the highest of the factors. So what are the highest of the factors? Highest of 2 is just 2 because both the numbers have the factor as just 2. Highest of 3 is here 3 squared, here 3 cubed, so 3 cubed. And highest of 5 is here no 5, but here just 1 5. So highest of 5 is 1 5. So that is the lowest common multiple. How is that? So 2, 3 cubed is 27. So 2 times 27 is 54, right? So 54 times 5, which is 270. So now we have the answer. That is the lowest common multiple of 54 and 90 is 270. Now, if you were doing the listing down method, you should keep on multiplying 54 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, and 90 times like that. So that's how you will end up in. So now we have arrived at the answer in this way. Right, okay. All right, I just skipped the question numbers 3 to 5 because I explained you question 1 and 2. Because actually, since I explained you 1 and 2, I thought let's practice one more question in the same style because 3, 4, and 5, they come from a different, um, style, but the same thing, still highest common factor and lowest common multiple. Okay, right. So let's do this question now. We need to find out the highest common factor of 75. If you see, the next one is we need to find the lowest common multiple of 75 and 90. So it's the same thing. All right. All right. Let's see. First to find out the highest common factor of 75 and 90. Right. So 75 and 90. So 75, we arrive at 75 3 times 25 is one way. So 25 is 5 times 5. And 90, 3 times 30. 30 is 3 times 10. And 10 will be 2 times 5. So now we have the prime factors of both the numbers. Here it is 3 times 5 squared. 3 times 5 times 5. And here 2 times 3 squared times 5. This is the factors of 90. Right. Now we need to find highest common factor. Highest common factor means we said the lowest of the factors. So lowest of 2, here there is 2 to the power of 1, here 2 to the power of 0. So 2 to the power of 0 means it's just 1. So 2 we are not going to take. Lowest of 3, 3 here and 3 squared here. So lowest of 3 is 3. And 5 is there in both. Here it is just a 5, here 5 squared. So lowest of 5 is just 5. So 3 times 5, which is 15. What does this mean is the highest common factor of number 75 and 90 is 15. So this way, we just found the highest common factor. Right, now let's do the part B of the same question, which says find the lowest common multiple of 75 and 90. Now, since we have the factors of 75 and 90, the factors of 75 is 3 and 5 squared, 90 it is 2 and 3 squared and 5. Right, now lowest common multiple, I think I explained to you that lowest common multiple, when we find, we take the highest of the factors. So here 2 is a factor, here 2 is not a factor. So highest of 2 in that case is 2 times here 3 and here 3 squared. So highest of 3 is 3 squared times here it's 5 squared and here it is 5. So highest of 5 is 5 squared. So the lowest common multiple is 2 and 3 squared and 5 squared. Okay. So 2 is, yes, 2 and 3 squared is 9. So 2 times 9 is 18 and times 5 squared is 25. So that is 450. So the lowest common multiple of 75 and 90 is 450. I think the highest common factor was 15. Lowest common multiple is 450. Right. So now you can practice the next question. Let's see. What is the next question? Question number 7. Right. So question number 7, there are two parts. Part A is find the highest common factor of 64 and 80. And next is find the lowest common multiple of 64 and 80. Right. So please copy this question down and this question as well, and pause the video and try yourself first. And then after that, we can practice the question together. So please pause the video and try the question. All right. So I hope you have already tried these two questions. Question number 7, the two parts A and B, that is finding the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 64 and 80. So let's see now what is your answer, and I hope you got the correct answer. Right, okay. So 64 and 80, I'm going to first find the factors. I'm going to factorize them. So 64 is, we can say 2 times 32 and that is 2 times 16, and this is 2 times 8, 2 times 4, and 2 times 2. So what we have here is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 to the power of 6. So all the factors are 2 for 64. 2 to the power of 6 is 64. Let's take the factors of 80. Right, so 80, we can say 2 times 40. 40 is 4 times 10. 4 can be factorized as 2 times 2, and 10 can be factorized as 2 times 5. So now we have all the prime factors: 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 to the power of 4 times 5. So here it is 2 to the power of 6, and this one is 2 to the power of 4 times 5. Now we need highest. So we know for highest common factor, we need the lowest of the factors. So lowest of 2 is 2 times 4, you can see. And lowest of 5, here 5 to the power of 1, here 5 to the power of 0. So that means there is no 5 we need to take. So just simply 2 to the power of 4 is going to be the common factor, the highest common factor. So 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So the answer is 16 for this question. That is the highest common factor of 64 and 80 is 16. Right, now let's see your second answer, your part B for question 7, which is finding the LCM of both the numbers 64 and 80. Here we have the prime factors. So you know the lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple means you need to find the highest of the factors. So here the one factor just 2, and here 2 and 5. So highest of 2 we can see is 2 to the power of 6. And highest of 5 is just 5 we have. So now we can easily calculate the highest lowest common multiple, which you might have already found, which is 64 times 5, is 320. So, right, congratulations that you got both the part A and B correct for question number 7. Okay, let's move to now question number 3. As I said, it is also related to LCM and HCF, but it is a different style, different type of a question. Right. Right, let's look at question 3. The highest common factor of 140 and x is 20. Right, now what is this question say? Here, if you look at this, you don't have to find the highest common factor, but the highest common factor is given. The lowest common multiple of 140 and x is 420. Find the value of x. Right, okay. So what happens in other questions, we found ourselves the highest common factor and lowest common multiple. But here, the question gives you the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple both. But the problem here is now earlier they gave, okay, for 75 and 90, for 20 and 24, and so on. 2 different numbers were given, and we were to find the LCM and HCF. But here, we are given LCM and HCF, but we are not given one of the 2 numbers. It's given as X. So we need to find that number. Okay, in a question like this, now I'm going to teach you another formula, another method, a formula where you can find the numbers. Now, keep in mind that this formula is true. What's that is? This says LCM of any number multiplied by the HCF is equal to the product of the numbers. That means product means multiplication of the two numbers. So that means now here you are given the LCM. LCM is, say, 420, right? And HCF is also given. That is 20. So this is equal to the product of the two numbers. So what are the two numbers? One is 140 and product means multiplication, right? And other number is called x, right? So now we can solve this question. So 420 times 20. 420 times 20 is 8,400, right? Which is equal to 140 times x. So that means 140x. So what we do now, we bring the 140 to the other side. That is 8,400 divided, that becomes division. 140 times x. Multiplication becomes a division when it goes to the other side. So 8,400 divided by 140 is equal to x. So now we can easily find out. So 840 divide 8,400 divided by 140 is 60. So we can say 60 is the one which is equal to x. So therefore, what's now? The HCF of 140 and 60 is 20. LCM of 140 and x is 420. Right. So in a question like this, where you are given the LCM and HCF and they want you to find the other number, or they have given you both the numbers and they have given you only one. Now, let's say, for example, they have given you 140 and 60, but they have given only highest common factor. Find the LCM. You don't really have to do that prime factor methods and factorizing. In such questions, you can use this formula, right? All right. So let's move on to another type of question. Right now, you can see the question number 4. Here, what happens is you are given two numbers as algebras, S and T, right? So what are they saying? Find the highest common factor of S and T. Now here you are given the factors of S and T, not the number, but the factors. Factorizing has been done for you. So now, which is very easy. Find the highest common factor. You know, highest common factor, when you find, you take the lowest of the factors. So let's see what are the lowest of the factors. Right. Now here for S, we have 2 to the power of 4, 3, and 7 to the power of 2. And for T, it is 2, 5 to the power of 3, and 7 to the power of 3. So what is you need to find the highest common factor. That means you need the lowest. So lowest of 2 is 2. And lowest of 3, here 1, 3, here 0, 3. So we don't have 3, we can't take 3. Lowest of 5 is no 5 here, 5 to the power of 3 here. So we can't take 5 as well. And lowest of 7 is 7 squared and 7 cubed here. So 7 squared is the lowest. So what is the highest common factor of these two? Is now 7 squared is 49 times 2, which is 98. So highest common factor of S and T is 98. Right. So that's pretty easy because we have been given the factors already. Factorizing has been done for us. So if you get such questions, this is all you have to do. Okay. Question 5. So, which is once again easier. Find the highest common factor of A and B. So as you know, highest means we need to get the lowest of the factors. So 2 cubed here, there are no 2 here, so we can't take 2. The lowest of 2 is 0. 2 to the power of 0, that means which is 1. 3 squared and 3 to the power of 5. So the lowest of 3 is 3 squared. Here 5 to the power of 4, here 5 to the power of 1. So lowest of 5 is just 5. And 7, we don't have a 7 there. Okay, so what's that? Now 3 squared is 9, and 9 times 5 is 45. So the highest common factor, HCF, of A and B, according to it is given, it is 45. Right. Okay. All right. So we discussed question numbers 1 to 7 so far. All right. Try this question out. Please pause the video and try this question. And after that, you can play the video to see whether your answer is correct. Okay, now what is this question? X is an integer. The lowest common multiple of x and 12 is 120. The highest common factor of x and 12 is 4. Find the value of x. Okay, so here also you can, if you like check back the question number 3, the formula method is the one which is going to be suitable for this one. So you can give it a try. So please pause the video and then you can play it after you finish the sum. All right. So I believe you have done this question and you have got the correct answer. So it's going to be like this. We know the formula is the LCM times HCF is it is equal to the product of the numbers. So the product of the numbers here is one number is 12 and other number is x, so 12x. So LCM is 120. So 120 times HCF is 4, which is equal to 12 times x, or 12x. So 120 times 4 is 480 is equal to 12x. So we take the 12 over here. So 480 divided by 12 is equal to x. So we can say 420 divided by 12 is 40. So x is 40 in that case. I hope you got the correct answer. Okay, question 9. Please copy this question down and try this question. You are given 2 numbers A and B, and they want you to find the LCM. Right, so please pause the video now. Okay, I think you have given it a try already. So let's see what's your answer. Right, now you need to find the lowest common multiple. Right, so when you find the lowest common multiple, you take the highest of the factors. The 2 is a factor for both, but this is 2 cubed and 2 squared. So highest of 2 is 2 cubed. 3 is also a factor for both 3 and 3 squared. So highest of 3 is 3 squared. So 2 cubed is 8 and 3 squared is 9. So 8 times 9, which is 72. So the lowest common multiple, I think you got the correct answer. Congratulations. Right, now you can try this question out. Question number 10. Here you are given 2 numbers A and B. A's factors are 2 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2 and 7 to the power of 3. B, 2 squared, 3 to the power of 5 times 5 to the power of 2. Find the highest common factor of both and find the lowest common multiple of both. That's the question. Okay, so please pause the video and copy this down and try to find the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple. Okay, I hope you have done the question. Right, highest common factor of A and B. Highest common factor, when you find, you take the lowest of the factors. So the lowest of the factors is 2 squared. For 3, it is 3 squared. 5 only here, not there. 7 only there, not here. So we don't take 5 and 7. So it is just 2 squared and 3 squared. 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. So 4 times 9, which is 36. I hope you got the answer correct. Okay, right. So let's do the next part, the next question. I'm sorry, not let's do. I think you have already done. So let's just correct this question. Okay, right. So let's see. What did you get for second part? Right. Find the lowest. Sorry. Find the lowest common multiple of A and B. Right. So the lowest common multiple of A and B. When you find the lowest common multiple, you need to take the highest of the factors. So highest of 2 is 2 to the power of 4. And highest of 3 is 3 to the power of 5. Highest of 5 is 5 squared. And highest of 7 is 7 cubed. Right, so now we need to work out all of these numbers. Right, so 2 to the power of 4 is 16. And 3 to the power of 5 is 243. 5 to the power of 2 is 25. And 7 to the power of 3 is 343. Right, so now we need to work out all of these. Right, so when you work out 16 times 243 times 25 times 343, you will arrive at this answer, 33,339,600. I hope you got the correct answer. So the lowest common multiple of A and B is 33,339,600. All right, so let's move on to the next question. All right, so since we have done quite a few questions, I think 10 questions so far, you can give it a try for this question as well. Pause the video, try this question out, and then you can replay the video again so that you will know your answer. Right. Please pause the video now. All right. So you must have done the question by now. Okay, what's the question? Find the highest common factor of 3780 and 3240. Give your answer as a product of prime factors. Right. 3780, the factors are 2 squared, 3 cubed, 5 and 7. For 3240, it is 2 cubed, 3 to the power of 4 and 5. Okay. Highest common factor. So when you find the highest common factor, you need to take, what you need to do? You need to take the lowest of the common factors. Now, 2 is a common factor. Lowest of 2 is out of 2 squared and 2 cubed. It is 2 squared. Lowest of 3 is 3 cubed. And lowest of 5 is 5. But 7 isn't a common factor. So 2 squared is 4 and 3 cubed is 27. times 5. So that is the highest common factor. 4 times 27 times 5, which is 540. Right, so you must have got the correct answer, I believe. Right, okay, let's move on to the next part of the same question. Right. Please pause the video and try this part as well. This is the same question, part B, question 11, part B. Here, you need to find the LCM of 3780 and 3240. Okay, please pause the video and give it a try. All right, I believe you have done the question and you have got the correct answer. Right, now in this one, you can also use, either you can use the, like, multiply the factors and you can use the normal way, or you can use the formula method, which I explained you, where it says LCM of any number, because the reason is you are given the two numbers and you already found the highest common factor, right? So LCM times the highest common factor is equal to the product of the two numbers. That's what we found in the formula. 3780 times 3240. Right. So now, what's the LCM is what you need to find, but you already know the HCF. Earlier we found the HCF to be 540, I believe. Yes. So LCM times 540 is equal to 3780 times 3240. Right. So we leave the LCM here and bring the 540 to the other side. 3780 times 3240 over 540. So now let's work it out. I'm sure you have already worked out and found out the LCM in another method. So when you work out 3780 times 3240 divided by 540, you will arrive at the LCM, which is 22,680. So what is it? The highest common factor of 3780 and 3240 was 540, and lowest common multiple is 22,680. All right. Congratulations for getting the correct answer. All right. One more question for you to practice. Question number 12, which also has two parts, A and B, where A says find the highest common factor of 75 and 105. Part B says find the lowest common multiple of 75 and 105. Okay, please pause the video and try this question out. All right, so I believe you have found the correct answer. So let me work it out for you so that you can check your answer as well. Right, so 75 and 105, when we factorize them, 75 is 3 times 25, and 25 can be 5 times 5. Okay, we have factorized this. 105 is 3 times 35. 35 can be written as 5 times 7. So now we have the prime factors of the two numbers. Here, 3 times 5 squared, and here 3 times 5 times 7. So highest common factor means you need the lowest of the factors. For 3, the lowest is 3. 5 is also common to both. The lowest of 5 is 5. But 7 is not common, so we don't need that. So 3 times 5, 15 is the highest common factor of both these numbers. I'm pretty sure you got the correct answer. But I also believe you found the question number 12, part B, which is the LCM, lowest common multiple. This also, maybe you could have done the other method or this method, that is a formula method, because you already found highest common factor and you have the two numbers, 75 and 105. So you can say LCM is equal to 75 times 105 divided by the highest common factor. Or you can just use these factorizing methods since we already have the factors. So the lowest common multiple, when you find, you need to take the highest of the factors. So highest of the factor 3 is 3 and highest of 5 is 5 squared and highest of 7 is 7. So 3 times 5 squared times 7. So 3 times 5 squared is 25 times 7. It is 525. 3 times 25 is 75 times 7 is 525. That's the LCM. I hope you got the correct answer for this question. Okay, 2 more questions to complete this lesson today. Right, question 13. Once again, you are given two large numbers, 267,300 and 246,960. So you are given their factors as well. So you need to first find the highest common factor, right? So please pause the video and find the highest common factor of these two numbers. Right, but if you can see here, the question says, give your answer as a product of prime factors, right? So you just have to give the answer as a product of the prime factors. That means you don't really have to write the whole answer here in this case. All right, anyway, give it a try. Okay, I believe you have got the correct answers for this ones. Right, okay. So what is the highest common factor? For that you need the lowest factors. So 2, the lowest of 2 is 2 squared and lowest of 3 is 3 squared. Lowest of 5 is 5 and 7 and 11, they are not common to both. So this is the product of prime factors. So you just have to write this. You can just simply write this as the answer here in this question. Right. Okay. So I hope you got the correct answer. Let's go to the part B. Okay. Question 13B is to give the lowest common multiple as a product of the prime factors of these two numbers. So when you find the lowest common multiple, we need to take the highest of the factors. So highest of 2 is 2 to the power of 4 and highest of 3 is 3 to the power of 5. Highest of 5 is 5 to the power of 2. And highest of 7 is 7 to the power of 3. Here no 7, here 7 to the power of 3. Here no 11, but there 11 to the power of 1. So this is the answer. This is the lowest common multiple given as a product of the prime factors. Right. Okay, the last question for today is question number 14. Find the highest common factor of 72 and 90 and the lowest common multiple of 72 and 90. Okay, so please pause the video first of all and then give it a try. And let's discuss after that what's your answer. Okay, I hope you found the answer already. So let's see, 72 and 90. So when we factorize 72, it is 2 times 36. 36 is what? 6 times 6, which means 2 times 3, sorry, and 2 times 3. So the factors we have for 72 is 1, 2, 3 2s. That means 2 to the power of 3 and 3 to the power of 2. 90. 3 times 10. 3 times 30, I'm sorry, and 3 times 10, 2 times 5. So the prime factors are 2, 3 squared, and 5. Right. I believe up to this point you're correct. So highest common factor means we need to take the lowest. So lowest of the common factors are 2. And for 3, we have 3 squared. And 5, it's not common. So 2 times 3 squared is 9, which is 18. 2 times 9 is 18. So I hope you got the correct answer for this one. The highest common factor here is 18. Now let's see the lowest common multiple. Okay. Because you need to find the lowest common multiple, the next one, but for the same numbers. So once again, you can either use the formula method to find the LCM here, since you know the HCF already, or you can just use these factors. Okay, so when you find the lowest common multiple, you need to have the highest of both, all the factors. So highest of 2 is 2 cubed, and highest of 3 is 3 squared, and highest of 5 is 5. So 2 cubed is 8, and 3 squared is 9. So the answer will be 8 times 9 times 5, which is 360. So you got 360 as the answer, I believe. All right, so congratulations for getting the correct answer. And that is the end of today's lesson. So if you liked the video, please like the video. If you liked it, like the video, subscribe, and give a thumbs up. And I hope to see you during the next video. Right. Goodbye.